I'm back again.
Come on, Ian. Come on. As the big man Ian Wright just said there, people, deluded, I'm back again. The Premier League is back. I think I speak for not only just Arsenal fans and myself, but every fan of any footballing club, where we're happy, simply put, that the international break is now over. It's beyond us. You know, where Arsenal are concerned, you know, Mikel Arteta has shedded some light. Where injuries are concerned, we're still linked, despite the market not being open, with the likes of Wirtz and Sesko. I would love Wirtz, and I'd sure as hell would love Sesko. I think the club would as well. We all know we're playing Bournemouth tomorrow. We will be doing a watch along for that. In fact, we'll be doing a watch along for Spurs. I know, people, but Spurs against West Ham and also Bournemouth Arsenal tomorrow. So make sure your notification bells are on. Big up you lot, whether you're on YouTube or Twitch. Sunday's Liverpool Chelsea. So of course we'll be watching that, man. The football's back now, and we've got the Champions League next week and whatnot. Now, throughout the course of this video, don't feel any sort of way. If you've got any questions, comment them. If you're watching this on a replay, big up yourselves. Also hit the comment section. I need you all to smash the like button. That's how we tip the YouTube algorithm, and we can finally, you know, after having some momentum, and maybe because of the international break we've stopped a bit, get towards, you know, 70,000 subscribers. Afternoon, Edward, I hope you're doing well and safe. Kay, the same. Cam, what are you saying? Big up DG, how's your day been? It's been great, man. I've been to the gym. I've edited a video that, you know, I've hyperlinked, so it should take you to that after this video's done. And likewise, if you watch that video, it will take you here. Mind game. So yeah, I've done that, gone gym, and we're here with you lot, people. Read a book, prayed, done everything I need to do with the day, really and truly. Well, not everything, because we're here now. So yeah, man, I hope you and everybody else listening is all doing well and safe and all of that. But you lot are here to see what we're speaking about. So let's crack straight on. That is not what I want to share with you lot. That is what I want to share with you lot. First things first, man. R.I.P. Kevin Campbell, and it's a touching tribute to not only him but his legacy. The Arsenal Football Club, you know, have partnered with the Kevin Campbell Foundation, people, which is a great bit of touch, really and truly, if I'm honest with you. Moving away from that, as we go into the Bournemouth game, we're one of 3 clubs in Europe that are still undefeated. Arsenal, Juventus, Manchester City are 3 teams with the most games currently undefeated in Europe's top 5 leagues, and our away record's great. I don't know if it can happen, but we're so close to the end of the year. Can we go unbeaten in that regards? Can we go unbeaten away from home, really, and just have, well, better yet, 1 defeat in the whole of 2024, in which you have to go back to last season? Obviously, we're playing Bournemouth, and it's shades of Kai Havertz. You ought to remember he's come a long way from that penalty, that charity penalty that he was given, essentially, people. And it's also full circle for Mikel Arteta, because was Bournemouth away not his first game? Look at that starting 11 and compare it to what we have now. Not just what you would believe is the last 11, but the last 11 that started for us in the Premier League. At the time, Leno, Maitland-Niles, David Luiz, Socrates, Saka was actually playing left back. Lucas Torreira, Granit Xhaka, Reece Nelson, Mesut Ozil, Aubameyang, Lacazette, Martinez, Mustafi, Mavropanos, Pepe, Smith-Rowe, Guendouzi, and Joe Willock, people. So of them names on that list, Saka's the only one that survived, really. Obviously, Smith-Rowe was here past the point. Joe Willock did well for the football club, earned us a lot of money, and it just shows you the transition we've been on, and we finally got the team in his image. You know, Saka isn't playing left back anymore. Great stuff. He's actually playing right wing. So it is where it is. And, you know, the Bournemouth game should be one that's filled with a lot of goals, in my opinion. I think it will be one that, I don't know if it'll be exciting or nervy for Arsenal Bournemouth fans, but I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal. Early prediction, people. I'll probably change my mind. We all remember Saliba's strike a couple of years ago, man. I'd love for Gabriel Jesus to score. And if we are lucky enough to beat Bournemouth, people, we have the opportunity to hit a new landmark this weekend. If we defeat Bournemouth in the Premier League on Saturday, we will become just the 2nd English team to win 2,000 top-flight league matches. Now, it's always nice to hit statistics. I'm sure Mikel Arteta and his coaching staff, and maybe some of the players, if not all, are aware of that. The main thing is 3 points to keep this title challenge alive. But if you win, and the byproduct of that is obviously getting, you know, these sort of records, that's great. As it stands, Liverpool are the only English club to have reached the landmark, with the Reds passing 2,000 top flight league victories back in December of 2021. So yeah, it'd be nice to obviously hit that, people, and, you know, be in some great company. You know, maybe if Ten Hag wasn't stinking out the place for Manchester United, they'd be closer to that as well, man. Big up yourself, Riley. I hope you're doing well and safe. Saka really is him, man. Big up yourself. And it'd be nice to see Saka play tomorrow again. And that's actually on brand, because, as you know, Mikel Arteta has had his press conference. There's been a lot of noise. You know, there's always a lot of noise where we're concerned with the international break. Obviously, there's been question marks about Saka, about Martinelli, about Kai Havertz, about Tomiyasu, about Thomas Partey. And I've probably missed out somebody. On Tomiyasu, who I'll always sing Tomiyasu's praises, and I'd love to know you lot's thoughts. So you lot losing patience with him? Because I do think he, for me, I prefer as a player. I like what Calafiori brings to the table. I like what Benjamin White brings to the table. I like what Timber brings to the table. I think Tomiyasu could be in the mix, definitely going into the Liverpool game. He's someone you would love Mikel Arteta to have the option of potentially flirting with, utilizing him against someone like Mo Salah. But again, for me, I am losing patience. I love his versatility. I love his both-footedness. I love his humbleness. I love the fact that he can, thrive. He's relatively both-footed. He can play on the left and on the right, centre half. If him, Benjamin White, Calafiori, Timber, if 2 of the 4 are not starting, then they help us close out games. Tomiyasu's a great player, but I mean, he's not really been a part of things, has he? On Tomiyasu and apparently this injury setback, Mikel Arteta said, we don't know that. It doesn't hopefully look like a long period out, but we have to see when he comes back and how he reacts to the load and to the impact on the pitch as well. We really need him. He's been incredible. The work rate, the amount of hours that he's put in to get back, he did it and was in great shape and then picked up something. We're all behind him. He needs our support and hopefully he'll be fine. Hopefully he will be fine, man. On Martinelli, Mikel Arteta said, well, with Gabby, he landed yesterday afternoon here, so we have a very short time to be with him. I wonder if there's any jet lag. Yesterday, he went outside to do a little bit and to see how he's feeling. Again, today will be another step to understand whether we want to take the risk if he's fit, because I know what the player's going to say. I'm going to be fit for sure. And this is what annoys me when people say footballers don't care, because Martinelli and actually Benjamin White, they're known to kind of lie about injuries because they want to play, whether that's to their own detriment to themselves and indirectly the team's another thing. Martin Wondergaard, the class Weasian, we miss him. I know we've been getting results, getting it done without him. Some Arsenal fans will obviously ask that question. Oh, you know what? Do we overrate Odegaard's importance? I don't think you can overrate Odegaard's importance to this team. In fact, I don't think there's any words of putting what he gives us. He's the nucleus. He's the hub of our team. He's the heartbeat, essentially, man. He's an extension of Mikel Arteta's coaching staff, in my opinion. Of course, when you think of Martin Odegaard, wonder of a left foot, great in tight spaces, link-up play, to a degree with Benjamin White, probably Saka, creative genius, wizard, gives us a lot defensively. We need this man back. But Mikel Arteta said, I think he's not going to be fit for this game. Next week will be a different story. Oh, with Liverpool coming up, even if you are fit, are you fit enough to start? I don't know. And we'll get on to Mikel Merino and potential midfield options, but would it be wrong? Not necessarily changing the lineup because we've been doing what we're doing, but would it be wrong to go with Partey, Declan Rice and Mikel Merino going into that Liverpool game? Jorginho is someone that can partner Declan Rice as well. So it's nice to hear next week will be a different story. In the latter stage of rehab where he's at the moment, he's doing a lot of work already. He needs to clear some markers. He needs to clear certain things. He needs to be comfortable doing, especially with the ball. I think next week will be crucial to understand how close he is. Yes, he could return before the next international break, hopefully. Yes, so the ITKs of this world that were saying Odegaard suffered a setback, their reputations really and truly are on the line at this moment. On Kai Havertz, he had a few issues and we've been dealing with that. He's been absolutely brilliant. He has a very good communication with the national team, with the manager. They understood the situation. Please, people, big up you lot on Twitch. Subscribe with Amazon Prime. Make sure you're smashing the like button and you're subscribing. They understood the situation. We modified everything that we could do here. And again, if he trains well today, he's got a good chance to be fit and available, which would be nice because, as I said, for Mikel Arteta and Kai Havertz, it's almost like full circle playing Bournemouth. On the star boy Bukayo Saka, it's not a serious injury, which is music to my ears. He's evolving really well. He's done a few things in the last 2 days. He was fit enough to play with the national team the second game, but we are hopeful. We have a training session this afternoon. He did some bits yesterday, so let's see if he can make it on time, which, again, out of all the injury news we've kind of heard, Kai Havertz to a degree, but Saka, he's been the most specific. He's kind of been, maybe, these players might be struggling. Maybe it's a bit of gamesmanship to keep people guessing with Mikel Arteta. But, out of what we've seen with Tomiyasu, Odegaard, to a degree, Kai Havertz, he's been very crystal clear with Saka. It's not a serious injury. That's music to my ears, and I'm sure you lot as well, people. Our next 6 games, we've got Bournemouth away Tuesday, which we'll be doing a watch-along. We've got Shakhtar at home. Then it's the big one against Liverpool, also at the Emirates. And then we're away from the Emirates as we go to Preston, Newcastle, and Inter Milan in 3 different competitions, people. So, yeah, it's music to my ears. We've gone over the injury kind of stuff already, people. The Bournemouth gaffer has been speaking as well. And as much as I want to do Arsenal, you need to kind of read into what's going on over there. He said availability wise, everyone has come back well. No injuries from the national team games. I think everyone is going to be available. On Miles Kerkaz, who whether it's Timber, whether it's Benjamin White, you're going to have your work cut out when that left back overlaps. And obviously Tyler Adams. Tyler probably lacks game time, but he's doing really well. He's trained very well and he's ready. Milos is feeling better, and I hope they can both be available. Now, as we know, when I think of Bournemouth, I think Areola's a genius. I think there's a lot of things he does that is very similar to Mikel Arteta. I think they're very progressive, playing out from the back. They're very good in terms of link-up play. They can hit you on the break, playing at their place. It's a small, condensed pitch. They've got good players, the Semenyos. I don't want to praise him, but Adam Smith, their right back, will overlap. We've just alluded to Kirkes. They've got Lewis Cook. They've got some ballers. Where I think, when you look at them statistically, they actually start games quite slowly. So I'm sure Mikel Arteta wants us to get a goal, dare I say, within the first anything from 5 to 10 to 15 minutes, people. You can't always look at the league table, and I don't look at the league table. Bournemouth are a better team than where they're at in sitting 13th, people, with 8 points from 7 games. Now, cynically, I don't want this to be a game where anyone can beat anyone, but this can't be a game where Bournemouth turn their form around and whatnot. We need to take care of business. It's one where you hope the game's won today. You hope these Bournemouth players are sitting there and thinking, bloody hell, we've got Arsenal, Mikel Arteta, Saliba, Gabriel, Saka, this, that, and the other. Let's focus on the next week, whoever we're playing. I will get into you lot's questions, people. Any questions, talking points, differences of opinions, you lot make the platform, so get them in, people. He said, if you look at the stats, we should probably have more points. The big mistake we've made is the games we've lost against Leicester. The other results are more or less logical, but we have to recover the 3 points we lost there. We have 3 games in a row against Champions League teams, so we have to recover those points in a difficult way. And obviously, they've, Neto's joined us on loan. Dominic Solanke's left. They're going to have to get onto it. They're not afraid to shoot, though. They have the 3rd most shots in the league, but have only scored 8 goals. So again, conversion is one thing. Creativity, to a degree, is not an issue for them. And I know we've conceded at this point, I think we conceded 6 goals at this point last season. We've got 6 goals now. I think we could go up to a tenfold. Obviously every goal is avoidable, but the goals against Leicester, the goal against Southampton, these things need to be eradicated, and we can and need to do better. On us, he said, we have to try to respect them, but maybe not so much. I would say they were the team from last season where we created less than them in both games. We haven't been the team we want to be against them, and it's a challenge for us. You have to win duels against strong defenders and impose yourself. So they want to match us, really and truly. They want to impose themselves. They want to turn their own form around. So it should be an interesting one. We've gone over that. You know me, I don't like to leave a stone uncovered, people. This was irrelevant, but as it's here, the Athletic did a think piece on Kai Havertz. It's quite irrelevant, people. But there was a bit, where was it? He was holidaying in Greece last summer when Arteta got in touch to try to convince him that Arsenal should be his next home. Having endured a mixed 3 years at Chelsea, Kai knew the next move had to be right. Virtually all clubs do an initial presentation to their big targets nowadays. So Havertz had heard the same vows before from clubs who swore they were all one big family, only to discover a revolving door of instability. But Arteta has sought to make the first meeting a differential for Arsenal in the transfer market by taking something which can be formatic and making it bespoke. Within minutes of their conversation starting, Havertz realized this was not just an analysis of him as a footballer, it was an analysis of him as a human being and what makes him feel complete. Fair enough, people. I mean, it's fair to say Kai Havertz is working out. Is there anything else we've missed from Mikel Arteta's press conference? We've gone over Saka, Havertz, Martinelli, Odegaard. On White, Timber and Zinchenko, which again, we've got great defensive depth at fullback, but it really and truly is being tested, isn't it, at the moment, people? They're quite close to 3 of them. Again, today, we're going to have to try to push and see how it is, because obviously we are getting stronger with the numbers, especially in our right side. But hopefully we have some positive news today. We have some players back for tomorrow. I mean, I hope Timber and Benjamin White are okay. They didn't go off with their countries. Zinchenko, we want to see you fit. It's all health and whatnot. I don't expect to see you play, but boy, we're going to need to get things sorted, really and truly. On Havertz and it being a turning point, he said, I think that was a turning point for sure. The players took ownership, which is the best thing. They decided to do something for the player that straight away made him feel special. It made him feel respected and admired. Everybody was willing and wishing the best for him. He delivered. That day, the connection towards the supporters went to a different level, because that's where he got his song, in it as well, and everything started to click. Since then, the story is unbelievable. His involvement in every game, what he produces to help us win matches, is incredible and very positive. Obviously, big up Kai Havertz for being resilient. Mikel Arteta was asked about Thomas Tuchel and he praised him. Partey is fit, which is great. We hope Kai Havertz can reach his full potential. On his concern of not having kept a clean sheet in the last 3 league games, I mean, you live and die by the standards you set. For Arsenal, it is a concern because we were the best team in Europe defensively in the Prem, arguably, potentially. Well, especially the way we've conceded certain goals with the little changes we've had conceded to goal and concede those goals. There's room for improvement there. It's about being very consistent and making sure that we play with a level of urgency, cohesion, and focus in the reaction. Because in the last few games, especially at home, we've conceded goals that I wasn't very happy with, and I don't think you are as well. On Bournemouth, he said they're very well coached, they're super intense, really competitive, and a clear idea as to how they want to do it. They should have different results, in my opinion, which is what Areola said, especially against the big teams and away from home. I thought you would have got something against Chelsea. They're going to be a big challenge, and we'll have to be at our best tomorrow. On the English managers not being English, now I'm tired of this. I'm not offering my opinions. I've offered my opinions on several live streams of my channel and others. I've done videos on it. Make sure you're following on both platforms. You lot can let me know your thoughts. Honestly, I find the whole Thomas Tuchel and England stuff quite exhausting. As I said before, you know, we could sit here and have legitimate debates about his tactics, about his suitability, about how he is with players, about how he plans to make the jump from club football to international football. All of it has been about if he's German. And I mentally checked out when I saw a report said, oh, well, the Germans wouldn't hire Frank Lampard. No, they wouldn't, because Frank Lampard's effing crap as a gaffer, really and truly. You think if there wasn't an English Pep Guardiola, Julian Nagelsmann, Mikel Arteta, Thomas Tuchel, Eric Ten Hag. No, I'm joking about Ten Hag. But you think these guys wouldn't get jobs? You have to ask yourself the question, why are no English managers in that regards? When was the last time a British manager won the Premier League? When was the last time they were among the best in the league? I don't know. In the same way, there's been a positive consequence of whatever's gone down in the coaching stuff in this footballing nation in England. You know, you see Bellingham's come out of Birmingham, Saka at Arsenal, Foden will be Kobe Mainoo, all of these guys. Why are the coaches not there? Because the best coaches weren't, in my opinion, the best coaches in this country, they didn't have the luxury of playing, having a top level playing Premier League career. That's why you don't get anywhere. You're a half decent footballer right now. Like, I don't know why. Declan Rice, let's just say he retires tomorrow, and let's just say he's a crap coach. He will find himself in some academy or in some high ranking position. And that's before you even get into the cost of stuff, people. You know, the English press always big up people to tear them down. And if it would, obviously, Tuchel is a great manager. I think, you know, Thomas Tuchel versus Graham Potter, Eddie Howe, I think they're all good managers. But Thomas Tuchel, Eddie Howe, them man there, Tuchel's a better manager. And obviously, Tuchel is not Pep or he's not even Klopp. That's, you know, you could have that debate. But if Klopp took the job, Jamie Carragher wouldn't talk nonsense. I don't think there's anybody in this country, if Pep Guardiola was the guy that was named as the next England manager, would be doing this tosh. But that's my thoughts, and that's that rant over. You lot let me know yours. As I said, I'm exhausted. The gaffer said, I understand opinions and the feelings, but that's the responsibility for the FA to say that the first filter is only English managers, or whether it's any manager from any country, and to select the best in the moment that we're in now. I understand that it can feel sad for some people not to have an English manager, and history tells you how important that could be, which is true. But I think I would take a lot of pride that a lot of managers will do anything to become England manager. That's related to how we are treated in this country, in which Thomas Tuchel said he feels he's more respected in England than Germany. But fair enough. How much we love the passion, the respect, the history, and the way things are done here. I can say personally, you feel so related to where you are, even if you're not from here. And I think that's a huge thing. Now, Eddie Howe could be lying, but he came out yesterday and said, I never had a conversation with the FA. So whether they thought these English guys were the right guys or they were feasible is another thing. And nobody said anything about Lee Carsley. The man's Irish, really, essentially. On if Mikel would want to manage Spain at international level, I'm sure you would. We need to win some trophies here first. I'll tell you right now, the feeling I have is this is like home. I've been here 22 years and I have the feeling towards it because I always feel respected, welcome, and inspired by this country, by the legacy and history of football and how you get treated daily. Big up yourself, Mikel Arteta. I'd love to ask you off wax, who was you supporting in the Euros then? Because obviously you're supporting Spain, but you must have been conflicted because, you know, you had Saka, you had obviously Ramsdale, you had Saka, you had Ben White, obviously, well, not Ben White, well, indirectly Ben White, but you had English players playing for England. And obviously you had your boy David Raya, and obviously that's your country. On Jack Wilshere, who, if you haven't seen the news, apparently he could be joining the first team setup at Norwich. He's been great. Obviously, everyone knows about the career, about his character, and he's a really special personality. His attachments to the football club, he's unique. He has this aura and this charisma, the way he connects to the club and to the people. Since he's come here, he's had a real impact. He's been a real inspiration for the kids because of his history with the club and the way he did it in the manner that he did it. What comes next is his decision and the club's as well, people. On the challenge of efficiency, seize an opportunity. You know that after analysing everything, how can we simplify the game in a really effective way to be super clear with the team what is required in that specific moment to be better than the opponent to win the game. We've gone over Odegaard. We've spoken about Tomiyasu. Mikel Arteta said he didn't speak with the FA about, potentially getting the England job either. He said he hasn't spoken or thought about international management one day. So that's where the press conference is concerned, people. Now, for me, obviously, this is a makeshift Bournemouth team for me. Who is the starting 11 going into the game? Sorry, people, this is some nice Ribena. Purely because when I think of Bournemouth, in an attacking sense, you're flying forward. You lot are on the front foot. Sorry, people, froze there. You lot are on the front foot. You will look to get there. You've got to get right there. So, and obviously you've got Tavernier and Semenyo, who are tricky wingers and tricky customers. Bournemouth are a very forward-thinking club. So on one hand, I don't want to see the 11 change, if I'm honest with you. But I must admit, I don't know who would be in my starting 11 currently, people. Obviously, spoiler alert, David Raya is there. Who would we go with? I'd go, do you know what, for now? I'd go Saliba, obviously. Let's remove the numbers. You'd go Saliba on the right. Obviously, you put Gabby M over there, wouldn't you? Right, it's fullbacks. We'll come back to fullbacks, people. That's where it gets a bit interesting. Even in midfield, to be fair, is where it gets a bit interesting because, I'd imagine Trossard. I don't know how. I wonder how fit Martinelli and Saka actually are. Have they got 90 minutes in the tank? So I'd probably go Trossard. Midfield is where it gets a bit political because could you remove Trossard and go with, well, we'll get into it, but you got Rice. Let's remove the numbers. You've got Mr. Declan Rice. You've got Mr. Thomas Partey. Pardon me. Obviously, swap them around, shake it all about. Could you go with that? And I'd more want to see this against Liverpool, people, because it'd be nice to see Merino start. But could you go with that? Which, again, if I just let's just move you a bit. It's like a flat midfield three, which obviously Declan Rice is going to have to support. Moreno's going to support. And then you've got Partey out there as well. So it's almost like a flat midfield three of sorts. And then you've got people like Moreno could go over there. And when Rice sits, I kind of want to see that midfield if I'm honest with you, people. Obviously, Kai Havertz, provided you're fit, there's nobody at this football club that can contest your striking position. So you will be playing. Obviously, Mr. Bukayo Saka is one of the first names on the team sheet as well. And I know, his form has been a bit up and down for not just this season, but last season as well. But Martinelli has to play. Now, for me, it's the fullbacks where I start to ask myself questions. Because obviously fitness is one thing. We don't know how fit Timber is. Tomiyasu is obviously out. We don't know for Zinchenko. Calafiori's okay. And I'm probably missing someone else out. I wouldn't begrudge if you continue with Calafiori on the left-hand side and Timber on the right, because I do want to see Timber and Saka really make something of themselves down that right-hand side. I think that partnership could be crazy. Likewise, we're seeing on the left. But I'm not going to lie to you lot. And I don't care, who goes out there. But for me, people, and I'll probably change in the next 24 hours. For me, I'm going Ben White. And I'm going Timber, just because Timber is a bit more stable defensively against someone like Semenyo. And if the game goes the way you want it to go, obviously, people, they're going to kind of have to drop deep into their own half. You're going to obviously be there. Mr. Timber is going to be flying in and inverting. You would probably have Declan Rice over there. Let's remove Moreno because I don't think you're necessarily going to start, people. So let's just chop and change things. You'd have him. Obviously, Rice will be flying in there. Martinelli be in the half space. You'd have Partey probably slightly deeper. And let's just move this. Of course, football ain't like this. People actually moving. You're more likely to see a somewhat of a back three of sorts. You're going to have to drop because we're going to be on top in this game. And then you're probably going to see something along the lines of, let's really exaggerate these things, man. And then you've kind of got White as a kind of hybrid centre-half, right-backy kind of thing. Partey is going to be there. So I'm leaning towards that, man. I understand, Moreno, for me, he's been exposed to 20-odd minutes against Southampton, against PSG. He's got some minutes in the legs against Spain, for Spain, sorry. Wouldn't begrudge if he starts. There'd definitely be no complaints from me. I just wonder, how fit is he? And also, is this the right opportunity? Could it make sense giving him 20, 30, 40 minutes now and then having some real conversations around the Liverpool game? Because for me, take nothing away from Trossard, he's doing his thing. I kind of want to see Mikel Merino, Declan Rice, and obviously Partey against them, because I think that's got a lot of dynamism. So for me, that would probably be my lineup. Of course, you batter Bournemouth with the greatest of respect. You get the 3 points. We start giving people rest and we start putting minutes in the legs of others. Merino to add to Arsenal's set piece threat. Mikel Merino hasn't needed long to show Arsenal fans what he can offer following his return from a shoulder injury. In only 55 minutes from the bench in his last 2 games before the international break, the summer signing looked eager to make up for lost time. In fact, his appetite for duels was very clear in his first action on his debut against PSG at the Emirates Stadium, as he snapped into a well-timed challenges on Bradley Barcola and Hakimi in quick succession on the edge of the Arsenal box. We all know he does his thing. We all know technically he's sound. He stands at 6'2" and he's 28, so he is a towering presence. One thing we do know is that he could be a threat from set pieces, and we were top for set piece goals across Europe last season. We had 26, which is only 2 more than Leverkusen. You know what? I'm not going to sit here and say I'm watching Leverkusen week in, week out, but that surprised me. I didn't think they'd be there. City and Bayern Munich, I thought they'd be higher than Everton, but then it makes sense because Everton don't have much about them. So yeah, that's decent. Calafiori on what De Rossi told him about joining Arsenal and Mikel Arteta first call. He spoke about his tattoo. Respectfully to you, your tattoo's irrelevant. He said on De Rossi, he's one of my friends and I always ask him about my biggest decisions and he always gives me good advice. I spoke to him about coming to Arsenal and he said, this is one of the biggest opportunities for you to improve as a player. You see what we're doing? We've got, we're making Italian players. You know how them Italian players stay. If it's not AC Milan, it's Inter or Juventus. We've got them coming over here. He's the next Maldini, man. F it. It's AI that said that. The man's lit. How can you not love Calafiori? And there's something so likable about him, people. He has spoken about the fact that he was speaking with Mikel Arteta for the best part of a year. But he said when, you would have seen the images when he was at the Palace game. He said, I came as a coincidence to visit the city. I've never been here before. Arsenal were playing Crystal Palace. They won 5-0. At that point, I wasn't even thinking about the Premier League. Since I was a kid, I had a passion to learn languages and started with Netflix and the lyrics of songs. UK drill. Careful, because they'll say you're in. So like they do, they say UK drill incites violence. Somehow, Calafiori, when you get a yellow card, you know how the agendas are going to agenda. Careful with all of this, people. He still said he's learning. On the British food, he said, I expected worse from the food in England. It's not so bad. You're capping, man. It's horrible. Fish and chips, I've tried once per month. Maybe you can do this, but it isn't healthy. I want to feel the whole experience. I want to become an English person and embrace it. Fair enough, man. Look, he's taken to it on and off the field, people, which is great. He said he, in brackets, Arteta first wrote to me and then said, can I call you? It was so humble and so easy on the phone. He wanted to explain the situation and what they thought about me and what I could improve. He tried to convince me, but I was already convinced, not just because it's Arsenal, because it's Mikel. During my first training session, I was thinking, is this real? When seeing the Arsenal logo, could I ever think I would be here now? It's such an amazing journey. It's just started, man. It's just started, man. Big up yourself. We've gone over the Calafiori stuff. Apparently, Arsenal are to offer Ethan Nwaneri a huge new contract and a show of faith in his ability and potential. The minute he turns 18, we need to get him to sign a 5-year deal. Charlie Patino has said, I've been at Arsenal a long time. I wanted a new chapter. Big him up, man. He needed to go and play football. And I think this is the club his dad supports. Obviously, he's got Spanish heritage. I think the Spanish game suits him. So we wish him all the best. And hopefully our paths cross again one day, man. He was a Man United fan as a kid. Oh, you didn't have to put that in the article. Fair enough. He said it was a no-brainer in the end. I had been at Arsenal a long time. I kind of sniffed what things would be like. I wanted to experience a new chapter. The time was right. Now living in Coruña, I'm loving it. Fair enough, man. He said, my dad was always a Depor fan. My granddad was a massive fan, so I grabbed the opportunity with both hands. Fair play. He said, I wanted to try Spanish football, which suits my style, and to hear about Depor, which runs in the family, was perfect. It was living here too. My dad showed me a map, what to expect. I've been when I was young. Memories came back. I have a family here. 20 of us met recently. I haven't seen them for years. My dad has old mates here. At my age, he'd go to Ozan Beach. Fair enough, man. Big him up, man. Big him up. He then said, people, I was a player at Arsenal. I had to be smart, grounded, focused on education. Few make it. Others were older, faster and stronger. But what I had over them was intelligence. A very intelligent player, which kept me playing 2-3 years up throughout my time at Arsenal. You have to believe in your ability. It was about training, delivering, and not getting distracted by things like jealousy, pressure, this or that. Whoever asked to play with the 15s, 16s, or 18s, I was always ready to work my socks off. And big him up for technically scoring on his debut. He said, at first, I wasn't in the squad. The second coach called home. I was excited, thinking it'd be a good experience rather than expecting expecting to come on. I remember a message from Lacazette said, listen, you're going to be a top player. Just keep working hard, stay focused. They made me welcome. You're an academy player. They're first team players. But if you think you're a kid, act like a kid, play like a kid, it's not going to end well. If you play like yourself, everybody will trust you. I did a dodgy knee slide. The players came and I looked up to my family. My sister was at my parents' meeting recording it. They cried. I had loads of messages, but I didn't want to get too high or low. The next day I was up at 7:30 for training. After that, I started against Forest, a really good experience. Then I was on the bench 6 times, Newcastle, Norwich and Everton. Big him up, man. We wish you all the best, really and truly. So yeah, man, we wish you all the best, man. He said, Arsenal again, would you go back? I'd never say never. Who knows the future? What I do know is I've moved on to a new chapter. My focus is deeper. I'm still very young. I want to show what I can do. I've been watching, analyzing. This is my game. Pass and move, drive, create. Simple, effective, brilliant basics. Don't overcomplicate, but play with intent. I'm new. When I get my chance, I'm going to take it. It's patience, timing, wait, be ready. Watching games I think I want to play. I'm going to cause some damage. Big him up, man. And he's recently turned 21, which again, I think when you're a young player, which we all know, you know, we signed him at a young age from Luton. In this day and age, you get some YouTube clips at 15, 16. Everybody calls you a star, and then you call you washed up because he's 21. So we wish him all the best. We've gone over that Mikel Arteta stuff. We've gone over that. As we said, Jack Wilshere apparently is in advanced talks to join Norwich's first team coaching staff. I have covered that in yesterday's video. Apparently, Manchester United will rival Arsenal in the race to sign RB Leipzig forward Benjamin Sesko next summer. You'd imagine he'd be on the radars of a lot of clubs. I mean, Man United, you got Højlund, you got Zertsky, you just signed Chido, Obi Martin. Do you really need another forward? And you do play Bruno from time to time as a false nine. So who knows? We're still linked with Jirel Hato. Allegedly, Arsenal reportedly go all out on a breakout international star whom they believe could secure their defensive future. I mean, you know, you could make a case of Kivior, Tomiyasu Zini probably leaving. So maybe in the next 2 years. So potentially Hato. Let's go, man. We know we've tried to sign him before. We know that for a fact. Apparently, scouts have still been watching him. Allegedly, Arsenal are believed to have previously tried to sign Hato with the teenager already a star for Ajax, but they'll face strong competition in the Dutchman should they formalize their interest. Arsenal could still pursue Hato despite new contract. He's made nearly 100 appearances for Ajax at his tender age, which is great for him. Real Madrid have also been linked with him. Come and join us, man. Talk to Timber. Apparently, Arsenal have a major advantage in the race to sign Wirtz, people. Bayern Leverkusen allegedly are determined not to sell him to another German side. I mean, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, everyone's going to be in the ring for him. He said, apparently a sporting director said, of course, we don't want to reinforce our league's direct competitors with top level players. By the way, I also said this directly to Jonathan Tah. I understand you want to leave, but I would have preferred any club to one in Germany. And then he said on Wirtz, he said, in football, you can't promise anything. We'd be happy if he stayed with us forever, which is probably unlikely. I'd love Wirtz, but seems like paper talk to me. Let's start closing some tabs because you lot always cry about tabs and it just looks a bit better. See, you lot have never seen my tabs this clean. This is amazing stuff. Let's leave that one because there might be some other Arsenal news. David Raya has been linked with Barcelona, man. Does anyone here really genuinely believe that? Fair enough, man, that he's doing well. He's 29. David Raya's 29 already. Life's coming quick, isn't it? I mean, if you got 60 million, anything can happen, but that is an absolute myth. We've been linked with Angel Gomez, and Lee Dixon says he reckons we should sign him. He's a free agent come the end of the season, so why not? Benjamin White has admitted he does not hate football, and I don't really want to read this because I think too much is made of it. Like, yes, you want your footballers to watch football and that, but if Benjamin White doesn't give a flying F about watching football and all he does is train really hard, you know, when he's in a football environment, if he trains hard, if he works hard, if he plays good, I don't care what you do, you know, off the field, you know. And to be honest, there's something to be said about, because football is 24/7, just switching off really, and it's getting a bit boring. So I'm not even going to read that, man. Big up Benjamin White, man. Really, he said he'd be a dog walker if he wasn't a footballer. We've gone over the Jirel Hato stuff. Apparently, Nuno Tavares ranks first among fullbacks worldwide for take-ons, and he's actually done well in terms of assists. Where does he rank for any defensive statistics? I don't know, people. So I'm not sure on that. Big up. You can see what I was watching. Big up Durag Diaries, man. Again, after this video, people, or after this live stream's done, there'll be more content from me. So yeah, make sure you take that in, people. That should come out in a bit. Tomorrow, we're obviously going to watch Bournemouth together against Arsenal, obviously. So make sure you're there. And then obviously, just before that, we're going to watch Tottenham Hotspur against West Ham. The best thing that could happen this weekend would be obviously for Spurs to lose, for Chelsea and Liverpool to draw, maybe actually Chelsea to win because Liverpool in the title race. I'd love Brentford to smack Man United, but it's getting to the point where if Man United keep dropping points, Ten Hag might go, and we all know we don't want that. So content, people. Bro, what happened to Zinchenko? He's still injured, really and truly. And Arteta said he might be back. That's about it. He has that aura. Give him a lifetime contract. Who are you referring to? Calafiori, I think. Fair enough. If he keeps doing what he's doing, why not? Because he's only going to get better and better. I think we should give Calafiori game time in these kind of lower risk games so he can improve his defending. Then we can use Timber and Rice against Liverpool. I don't want to see Salah against Calafiori. I've got confidence in Calafiori. There's minor things Calafiori can improve. Obviously, he got spanned by Salvinho. I think the whole team switched off for the Leicester goals. There are obviously things the 22-year-old who is younger than Saka could actually improve, but I don't think he's a flight risk. I just think probably needs to calm down, be a bit more calculated. I would rather Timber or Tomiyasu, admittedly, against Salah, but I've got complete confidence, really. And make no mistake, I hear you, but Brighton's no little fish. They got Semenyo, they got quality. Ivan Nilsson's a good striker that's gone, they just signed that's going to cause problems for our defense. It's not an easy game, really. And he did well against PSG, man. I'd rather rest Timber in this and play Calafiori and White. I think you can run that. I'm cool with the fullbacks. I don't want to see Zinchenko, if I'm honest with you. I really don't. But yeah, whether it's Calafiori and White, Timber and Calafiori, Timber and whatever variation that you could make, I'm all for that. My lineup, Trossard starts instead of Merino. That's what I think will be the case. We cannot rest anyone for this game. If we do, we could be punished because Bournemouth are definitely one of those teams. Big up the ginger beard one. Timber, again, Arteta hasn't said he's not fit, but hasn't exactly said he's fit. So it's a luck of the draw tomorrow, man. Raya, Partey, Gabriel Saliba, Calafiori, Rice, Moreno, Trossard, Saka, Havertz, Sterling. Tuchel is a better cup manager than Pep and Klopp, and it's proven. I think Tuchel has probably got a better record in the cups than he's got in the leagues. But really, I don't know, really. I think it's probably about even. Either way, I would rather have Jurgen Klopp than Tuchel. I'd rather have Pep. But I think he's in that kind of company. And again, going back to the England thing, I think it's quite disrespectful to him, if I'm honest. Tuchel is quite literally the best manager available to England. He wins things. There you have it. And if it don't work, you try something else, really and truly. And as much as they're crying about British managers and we need an English manager and our game and this and that, if they appointed Graham Potter, Eddie Howe, Gary O'Neill, who are all good managers, they would still moan. These lot just want to moan about things. No, the English media is actually so insane, bro. They can't even hide the xenophobia, and it's scary, man. Like it's very scary. It is very scary, if I'm honest. Neville and Jamie are hypocrites, saying they would take Pep or Klopp, but then dismiss Tuchel because he's foreign. And I'm not gonna lie, I think they're very dishonest. I think Jamie Carragher is quite dishonest. You look at the way he's spoken, and I ain't got it to hand. But if anyone cares, go and look at what he said about Thomas Tuchel when he spoke on Sky Sports, and then go and look at what he said on CBS. It's two very conflicting kind of comments. And also with that, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, and everybody's allowed their own opinion. Off topic, I can't believe I agree with Jamie Redknapp. I think Jamie Redknapp was spot on. And actually Jamie O'Hara, where it came to the foreign managers, which normally they talk nonsense. All of them are saying the same things. It's like they've been briefed by the powers that be that control the media narrative to say certain things. I got a feeling Bournemouth under the lights on Saturday will be tough, and I expect a draw. I don't want no draw, but I do expect it to be tough. Finally, nice to see the third kit tomorrow. It would be, innit, really. I think that's our nicest kit this season. I think he's too good to have in the squad, and his wages aren't that much, but it's getting a bit annoying now. That's obviously in reference to Tomiyasu. Shout out Riley. RIP Kevin Campbell. Weird question, but who would win a fight between Gabriel and Declan Rice? That is quite weird. Gabriel, if I'm honest with you, like no one would want to fight Gabriel. Wavy classic shirt there. Appreciate that. I don't understand the slander on Calafiori's defending. It's his first time playing left back, and Arteta instructs him to bomb forward. He'll learn people. I wouldn't say it's his first time playing left back. I think that's wrong, but I do think people are doing too much. But again, the positives outweigh the negatives. And what 22-year-old? There's very few 22-year-olds that are going to be the finished article, man. I think he'll be all right, man. I think people do too much. I think people do too much, way too much, because they're acting like he's getting terrorized for 90 minutes. Of course, football is about moments and actions, and if something crazy happens, then that's what makes or breaks it. But I think people are doing too much. But people always do too much now, because we've got Calafiori and Timber. It's over for Benjamin White now, and I think one thing that goes against Benjamin White is, I don't think to the untrained eye he's outstanding at anything, if that makes sense. Like you can see Timber is a bit of a hybrid. He's tenacious. He's this, that, and the other. Calafiori is all about. Benjamin White just does his job, really. Good passer, not amazing and whatnot. But this is what we wanted. We wanted a squad, man, and we finally got one. It's not slander. I don't know why this ain't coming up, Victor, man. This is annoying. It's annoying, Victor, but I'll read it out. No, it's not slander on Calafiori. I think he's a great player, but I'm not as confident with him against someone like Salah. If he starts against Liverpool, I won't have a problem. Just not confident. Bro, we'll win the league in the Champions League. It'd be nice to win both. It'd be nice to win either. You know, if you offered me the Premier League or the Champions League, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to pick the Champions League. I hear it. 20-plus year drought for the Premier League. It does annoy me, but the champs, man, we're too big of a club not to have that in our possession. So for me personally, I'm having that. Personally, man. So yeah, good God, it feels good to be back. Let's go, DG. It does, man. Hopefully this time, well, no, we wouldn't have kicked off, but hopefully, you know, you get what I mean. This time tomorrow, we're still feeling like that, because depending on results, we might have never wished the international break was over, but really and truly. So let's hope we can do a thing. Calafiori is still young. The raw materials are there. Clearly, let Arteta cook. We know he can. There you have it, man. And if anything here, now, Mikel Arteta I think he's improved himself as a manager, clearly. I think he's improved several people, you know, people that have walked out the door. Eddie Nketiah has improved as a striker. Smith Rowe's improved. Joe Willett, when he left, improved. Ramsdale was improved. Obviously, he's getting packed in every week for Southampton, but he's definitely improved. You know, Saka's got better and better. You know, Odegaard's our captain. There were some people that wanted Buendia and all these, Maddison and all these guys over him. So he's improved. Martinelli, obviously, he's been stinking up the place generally, but he had his first significant season under Mikel Arteta. So, and Declan Rice has improved in the final third. I think he's improved several people. But if there's one area I have even more confidence about Mikel Arteta, it's defenders. Obviously, Saliba is very easy to remember. You know, there was a point where we did not know Saliba was even going to have a future. Saliba, including this year, he's only been about for 3 years and he's still only 23. He's getting better and better. I think the best case study is Gabriel. Like, from the moment we signed Gabriel to where he is now, he's improved. Benjamin White's defo improved, you know, and so on and so forth. You get where I'm going. And I genuinely think Tomiyasu looks a lot more confident in the final third even. So that's why I'm cool with Calafiori. Again, you know, you have to talk about the positives and the negatives. They could cost us. A bit of it is probably acclimatizing to the league and showing his age and whatnot. A bit of it for me could be the fact that he's all action. He's excited. He could be a bit calculated. But, you know, for me, he's taken to this like a duck to water. You'd think he's been at this club for 10 years. He's been all right. I'm cool with Calafiori. Like, yeah, you know, if you go and, you know, if what happened against City or against Leicester and them kind of things happen, we have a conversation. But the man's 22. He's all right, man. I think he wants to improve. I think he's bought into the collective. I think he's, obviously, I don't want to be that guy, but there's something to be said about foreign players coming into the Premier League. Sometimes they don't always get to grips. They don't always buy into it. Mesut Ozil didn't really get it like that, you know. There's several players. Di Maria didn't really get it like that. He's got it. Like, he's genuinely got it. So he's only going to get better and better, man. He's only going to get better and better, man, if I'm honest with you. Timber has started to form those relationships and you can see the improvements. Timber just needs games, man. Like, Timber just needs to make up for lost time, which evidently he is, man. Calafiori is obviously a main character in his solo play. Once he forms those solid partnerships with the pods around him, we'll understand his limits and potentials more. Amen. And for me, obviously, when you look at this inverted role, the primary job of a defender is to defend, no matter how much this thing advances, right? Zinchenko isn't the best at that, clearly, to put it nicely. When it comes to that inverted role in the middle and the final third, Zinni, that's Zinni's bread and butter. He's a centre midfielder playing left back. That's his bread and butter. But I like the fact that we've progressed beyond Zinchenko. We remember a few years ago, if Zinchenko weren't playing or he weren't creating, we used to say we ain't creating because we ain't got a fullback. Yes, you know, the other options might not be to the level of Zinchenko. Sorry, my alarm went off. To the level of Zinchenko per se. But Calafiori contributes in all phases. Timber can contribute in all phases. Added to the fact that we're finding different solutions. I'm here for it, man. Like the Tomiyasus, the Whites, the Timbers, the Calafioris. You lot fight it out for me. And you lot, whatever Arteta wants to do and whoever proves they need to start, you lot start. When the sun's shining at the Emirates, Zini, that's your thing. Kivio, you can help us close out games. Tomiyasu, you need to get yourself fit because I need you this season. There's a lot of football to be played, man. We need every player. And this is why I'm not a fan of some people just want to sell everybody in January. I hope we bring some players in. What time is kickoff tomorrow? I don't know if you're in the United Kingdom, but if you are in the United Kingdom, it's 5:30 p.m. So 5:30 in the evening. What's your starting 11? I'll probably change it, but at this, off the top of my head, I think we covered it slightly earlier. At the top of my head, Obviously, no brainer. David Raya, Saliba, Gabriel. We'll come back to fullbacks. Well, let's do it now. David Raya, Saliba, Gabriel. I want to see Calafiori, but I'll probably change my mind. But Benjamin White, Timber left back, Benjamin White right back, central midfield, Trossard, Declan Rice, Partey. On the right, obviously the boy Bukayo Saka, the next star boy Martinelli. Kai Havertz picks himself up front in it, really. But I do think it's going to be a game where, I mean, Saka could very well play 90 minutes in it, but I don't know how many minutes in the legs Martinelli has. So you're probably looking at the Gabriel Jesus and Raheem Sterling's. You know what? Gabriel Jesus, you're scoring tomorrow. We're talking this into existence. One last dance, Gabriel Jesus, man. Stocks on the floor. DG, would you play Rice over Partey at right back if Timber or White isn't fit? Because in my opinion, I think Rice can play right back better than Partey. No. Partey, you're going to have to do a job. We need Declan Rice in the midfield. I'm hearing Barca want David Raya. We're attracting a lot of top clubs. They should have done that already. And it's a testament to him that you being a Euros winner, obviously you've got 1-2 games now playing for Spain. For me, one thing I've liked about David Raya is, obviously, I'm not calling him complacent. I don't think anybody, including Mikel Arteta, can afford to be complacent in this team because we ain't achieved nothing. And I don't think this is the breeding ground. But David Raya came back he's got every reason to believe that, I can take my foot off the gas a bit. I've won the war against Aaron Ramsdale. My move's made permanent. I'm playing every week now. Arsenal have been doing their thing, fighting City. I could be all right. David Raya has been one of our, if not arguably, in the 7 games we've seen at the point of making this live, he has a case to be our best player at this moment this season, or at least top 3. Now, take nothing away from David Raya. For me, that's alarm bells, because I do think in the 7 games so far, and it's easy for me to say as a fan, I feel like I'm seeing David Raya a lot more than I saw last season. I want by default David Raya to be the lowest rated player. I don't want my keeper called into action. I want him playing on his iPhone in his half, see 1-2 passes to Kai Havertz and all of that, and we keep it moving. If Barca want Raya, give us Yalmal in return. Give us him. Give us Frankie de Jong. But unpopular opinion, I don't think Frankie de Jong be the right signing for Arsenal. I love him. I think in terms of what I want from a midfielder, you've got it. But I don't know if you've got that mentality. I think you're soft. I think you're someone that, if we're in semi-finals of Champions Leagues, or, it's a must-win Premier League game, we need 3 points to win the league, and we're 2 goals down, there's 10 minutes left. I don't know if you've got that in you, really. I think you're soft. So, yeah, man. Merino has to play over Partey and play Partey in Champions League games. I mean, for Merino, he's got to earn the right, innit? I mean, I think Merino will get starts. I am tempted to play him in the Liverpool game. I don't think he necessarily has to play ahead of him. I think it's a good conversation to have, and I think he will get his time to dislodge someone. If I'm honest with you, at current, I wouldn't drop Declan Rice. I think you need him to play every week and every moment he's available. But if you were dropping someone without logic and tactical breakdowns and whatnot, you could argue Partey deserves to start ahead of Declan Rice, really. I really want Merino to... And I don't know where Merino's going to play. You've seen him kind of play 10 for Spain. He can play on the right-hand side of midfield. Can play on the left, obviously, where you think he'd play. Can play as a 6 and an 8. But we're finally seeing something with Martinelli and Calafiori. You throw Merino in there. Obviously, it's not going to be like for like with Xhaka, but we finally got some sort of long-termism, if that's even a sentence or a word, to a degree on the left-hand side. Obviously, Timbers can play right back. Typically, it's Martin Odegaard, Benjamin White, Bukayo Saka. Indirectly, Kai Havertz will float on the left and the right. You start to become a lot less lopsided, man. So, yeah, man. DG, if you mention that Lacazette with cheekbones bagging the goal, deactivate. Less of that. No, man. One last dance. Gabriel Jesus is scoring tomorrow. Trust me. Make sure you smash the like button. I never lied to you. Gabriel Jesus is scoring tomorrow. Arsenal, please, if we get any pens, give it to Gabriel Jesus. I'm just trying to talk into existence. Merino, Rice, Trossard until Odegaard's back. Even that, if Odegaard's back for the Liverpool game, is he fit enough to start? Probably not. But we do need him back, I mean, the goal for me would be Odegaard. In an ideal world, we wake up, Odegaard's on the bench tomorrow. He gets some minutes. You're starting against Liverpool. That's the one game I genuinely think we need Odegaard. But then I'm flirting with the Merino, the Rice, and I'm missing someone else out here now, the Partey midfield trio. But then Trossard's been doing it. Trossard's been very good, man. Not going to lie. I think DG is the only Jesus believer. I believe in everyone. I'm not going to sit here and lie. It's peak for Jesus. You're not scoring. You're not starting. You're on big money. You're in the peak of your career, and we're having to hold your hand. You're nowhere near Kai Havertz spot. Martinelli's form's fluctuated on the left. We're not even running you over there. If Saka gets injured, God forbid, are you necessarily the first name on the team sheet to play on that right-hand side, give or take with Bukayo Saka? You look down on your luck. For me, the most alarming thing is on the best of days, Gabriel Jesus is amazing. Like, you know, in his prime, when he's doing his thing, he's got ants in his pants. He's tenacious. He's everywhere. Brazilians, as we refer to him as. We just used to criticize his lack of goal scoring. When you're not scoring goals, you're not impacting the game. You look down on your luck. It's terrible. And he is on big wages, you know. Again, I don't really care how much players get paid. That's your business. No one put a gun to the club's head to give you that. But at the same time, the club might say, oh, you know what, in the summer, want to bring in a striker. You know, can we move on? Zinchenko's got 2 years left on his deal, probably on like 100 odd grand. Gabriel Jesus on 200 plus. Partey's probably not going to sign a renewal. The resources get freed. And Gabriel Jesus, I don't know where you go from here, you know, because it's a bit like Thomas Partey. These players are always linked with moves away, but where are the offers? Maybe Arsenal had offers that we don't know. You know, the Charles Watts and all them guys have said that Arsenal weren't forcing Jesus out, but they were prepared to listen to offers. Where is the offers? Because if anyone wants to buy you, they're not giving you the money you're on now, and they're probably not going to give Arsenal a handsome wage. So, you know, but at the same time, I do think one day we're going to get into a scenario where there's squad players that are on 200 odd grand a week, especially if you want to be City. But at the same time, you need to pull your weight. You know, again, Jesus is one of, and I'm sure off the field and around, he's a great lad. He's cool. Everybody likes him. Yada, 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 experience. But I don't see you leading. I don't see you leading. People younger than you look like they're with it. Ethan in the little minutes he gets. Lewis Skelly in the little minutes he gets. They look like they're more with it. Saka is a veteran compared to you now, and he shouldn't be. Jorginho, fair enough, we don't see him a lot. I'm seeing you lead something. I'm seeing Gabriel lead. I'm seeing David Raya in his own way. I'm seeing Kai Havertz. I need to see that from you, Jesus. Every player at this football club will have my support until they leave, or at least until the end of the season. But assuming if we could skip life like in FIFA all the way to May, and without getting into the isms and schisms, you can make a case of get rid of Partey. I know it's not FIFA, and I wouldn't necessarily be comfortable with all these players going, but Thomas Partey, conversations. Tomiyasu, if the injuries consist, conversations. Kivio, if you haven't played enough football that you deem, conversations. Jesus, conversations. Sterling, if you're not doing too much, can't imagine you stay. Jorginho probably going to leave, could leave. And there's probably some others. I don't know if Zinni's so good, I'm going to say him twice. So yeah, here's what it is. In my opinion, people are heavily relying on Odegaard coming back. Let the guy heal calmly. In my opinion, don't be surprised if we see him until December. I hope not, because we got Inter Milan and these things. You know what? In an ideal world would be, you know, Odegaard is fit, over his injury issues, you're ready to go against Liverpool. In a more realistic ideal world, you know, we beat Liverpool, whoever it's Trossard in the 10 and Partey and Rice, or, you know, Merino comes in or whatever. Mikel, you know, you can't rule out Havertz going into midfield. I don't want to see it. Whatever happens there, you beat Liverpool. He comes off the bench. He gets some minutes, and you'd imagine, you know, the way it is right now, Odegaard's probably first start or significant minutes. Like, it's surely got to be the Preston game, innit? Surely you get anything from 45 to an hour against Preston, you rest your legs and you're good to go for Inter Milan and Newcastle and etc. But as you said, the main thing is you come back and you're cool. And boy, the saddest thing is November's another international break, people, which God forbid, but you know, you look at the last two that we've had up until this point, there's always some sort of concern. Jesus, it's time to go. Turkish League Fenerbahce is waiting. But hey, you need to be on the phone to Saudi. But yeah, I'm gonna back him. It's like this comment says, the whole squad needs to pull their weight for us to win the league. Exactly, or title, better yet. There you have it. Odegaard is back for the Liverpool game. Fingers everything crossed. I think Mikel Arteta slightly indirectly alluded to that. Partey's our best midfielder. Rice needs to learn from him. I said if Uncle Partey's fit, we're gonna win the league. I hope we can win the league. And I disagree with the learning from Partey. I understand what you're going with. I think there's little things that Rice could learn from Partey and Jorginho, especially Jorginho when it comes to dictating the tempo and defense splitting passes. And, you know, Declan Rice has given a great, you know, crack at being that 8. He's done well. There's all these things. Personally, I think Arteta plays him in that 8 role purely because of his engine. And we want to win the ball back as high and as quick as possible. I think Rice provides you with that. But in terms of what you'd imagine historically from an 8, obviously he's getting goals and assists. He had his highest output season last year, granted set pieces. But Rice is not gonna be Paul Scholes. He's not gonna be Frank Lampard. He's a destroyer. He's a ball winner. He ain't got it in his locker to consistently. Maybe he does, and it's a confidence thing, but he ain't a line breaker per se. So to a degree, I think, yeah, everyone should learn and try and do something. But I also feel sometimes you have to accept players for what they are. It's a double-edged sword because, of course, you know, Declan Rice can get better, is getting better, can learn new things. But you signed him for 100 million, X amount of England caps, West Ham captain, won a trophy there. This is Declan Rice. Like, this is him. This is what he's been. So, yeah, big up Rice, man. Got some good problems. I'm starting to dislike Rice. If he don't go back in the 6, he could become a target by fans. I mean, anyone that's targeting but I'm not a fan of scapegoating, and I think it's wrong. Anyone that's going to target Declan Rice, I mean, Mikel Arteta has really changed our fortunes. They need to bang their heads, if I'm honest with you. So don't you think our midfield is Merino, Rice, Odegaard with that bang? I think that's what Mikel Arteta wants to run. Obviously, Merino unfortunately picked up an injury 2 minutes into his Arsenal career. Odegaard's working his way back, and you've got Rice. I do think that will be our first choice midfield trio at some point, but when it all comes together, if it all comes together, I can't answer that, man. Arsenal fans really believe Merino can bench Partey. Different horses for different courses, man. I do think there's a bit of disrespect on Thomas Partey's name, but I do think some fans generally are downplaying what Merino can be for this football club. Of course, he's not a sexy signing from Sociedad. Obviously, his last spell in the Prem, Newcastle, didn't do too much. But I think he's a smart addition for us, man. And hopefully another midfielder arrives between January and thingy. He's been our worst midfielder this season. Who? Declan Rice? Probably, but he ain't been crap. I think the first couple of weeks of the season was a struggle. I think since whenever the last international break, I'm sure he scored against Ireland or something. Since then, I think Rice has been good, man. I just think people are, being a bit biased, and people are just seeing what they want to see. I want Rice in the 6. I think that's your bread and butter. I want someone more wavy in the 8, but I do think we get hung up on this 8 and 6 stuff generally. Pogba, Partey, Rice, Moreno, Odegaard, Ethan, Skelly. That's a winning midfield. Dream chasing with Paul Pogba. I mean, Paul Pogba on ability, the player, what he looks on YouTube, the French ties, the physicality to go with the skills and the technical level, bro. Sign for Arsenal tomorrow. But when you look at the wages, the fact that he ain't played, he technically still owned by Juventus, purple patch player, it don't make sense. It really don't make sense. Pogba is an upgrade on Jorginho for sure, and something about Arteta bringing players back to their best. It is true. It is true. Mikel Arteta does love bringing players back to their best, but he can't save everyone. So I just think Pogba's a non-starter, man. What's the transfer news? Scroll back, man. We went over that. Paul Pogba supports Arsenal. It's great for him. It's irrelevant, though. I'm sure he would want to come back to the Prem with a point to prove, but mid-season, you're going to have to get him back to full fitness. He's already playing catch-up. Like, he ain't kicked a competitive ball this season, so how fit are you? Are you going to get a run of games in the side to do that? I wouldn't be mad if we signed Paul Pogba, but I don't think when I look beyond the fact that I like the player, I don't think it makes sense. Chelsea, Liverpool, watch along. Yeah, definitely Sunday we will be doing that 100%, man. Hanging around like a bad smell, mate. Like we're doing Spurs, West Ham, Bournemouth, Arsenal, and Liverpool, Chelsea, as you said, and then you've got the Champions League, which opens up, Arsenal versus Shakhtar. I think next Thursday is Fenerbahce versus Man United. I'm definitely watching that. I think that might be the nail in the coffin for Ten Hag, man. I know Jose Mourinho, Amrabat, and Fred have something for me, really. So, yeah, I'd get Timbers twin in midfield. I don't mind him, but nah, man, I think you're a bit too basic. I think you're a bit too basic, man. We got the better twin, man. It's like Raphael and Fabio. Fabio was Banduli. Rice has been covering our injury absences. With Moreno up to speed, we'll see a better Rice with license to express himself again. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. We've got bigger problems than Declan Rice. But Declan Rice just does a job. I'm cool with Rice. We've got bigger problems. Like we got Gabriel Jesus stinking up the place. We don't know what's going on with Sterling. We need Martinelli to keep going. Need to see Odegaard and Moreno up to speed. Need to get Tommy back and whatnot. Can the next 8 games define our season? I ain't a fortune teller, so I don't know. Obviously, it can play a massive part. You might look back in May. Naturally, yeah, every game counts really and truly. And for me, as I say, every summer when we do the previews for the season, all I care about is from August to December, whatever our goal is, whether that's winning leagues, winning champs, all that crap, we're winning games and we're still having that conversation in December. Once you get out to December, You need to make it to the end of February to March. Once you get from March towards April, well, the end of March to May, just win the games, man. Plus, Pogba won't play until somewhere around March. So it's a non-starter there, man. It's a non-starter. What do you think about the Bournemouth winger? I'm not sure who you're referring to. If you're talking to Semenyo, he's a good player, man. Very good player. Quite quick. Obviously, has found the goal-scoring touch of recent. Quite positive. Been linked with Arsenal as someone that could potentially be back up for Saka, as was Kirkes. Obviously, paper talk. You can't read too much into it. So I'm not sure, man, if I'm honest with you. Twitch gang, we will at 6 p.m, not PM. I ain't got BM. At 6 p.m, people will be playing Football Manager as well, people. To be fair, Martinelli couldn't have come back into form at a better time with Jesus struggling. It's true. Chelsea, Inter, Newcastle, all away in 1 week. Strap up, Arsenal fans, innit? The league's about to get real. I'm not going to lie. I want a massively better performance at Stamford Bridge at Chelsea away than last season, because I think we dropped 2 points. Yes, it was courageous. Trossard and Rice saved the day, but we stunk up the place in that game. And one does wonder, had you have won that game, what does the league look like last season? Shows you that you can't really afford to drop points, really. Newcastle away. Nobody wants to play Newcastle at their place, but you want to win that, especially if you want to win the trophy. Inter. Oof. It probably won't, you know, but F it, man. I'm saying 3 wins. 3 wins. Now, obviously, that's a lot of games. You're going to have to rotate and utilize the whole side. You know what? Oh, Inter at the San Siro. Oh, Inter did look good against City. Oh, that's crazy. YouTube FM stream when? YouTube FM stream when? To be fair, on my second channel, I should be uploading them. But, yeah, we'll look into that. But, yeah, 6 p.m. Twitch, we'll be playing Football Manager. So yeah, people, you lot, make sure you're subscribing and smashing the like button. The engagement is always appreciated. You lot's talking points, differences of opinions is always great. Make sure your notification bells are on, because I think I've got a video coming out today in addition to this. And then there's hella watch alongs, man. So yeah, I hope this week's been blessed for you lot. Obviously, I hope we get 3 points tomorrow. Appreciative of you lot sharing your time. And on that note, let me leave you lot and start waffling and rambling. Peace. Against this right back, Charlie.